people use hit-or-miss methods, but this isn't the way to make sure your pasta is just right. This is, because when you choose American Beauty, you can depend on the pasta to turn out perfect.
Great.
Every time. For over 75 years, American Beauty's been pleasing families meal after meal. So make sure our pasta is your pick of the pastas. American Beauty. Perfect every time.
Our normal program schedule will not be seen in order to bring you live coverage of the WIAA basketball tournament.
Bob Lindmeyer tonight on Eyewitness News at 6.
Celebrating 100 years of basketball. TAC Communication Sports proudly presents the 77th annual WIAA Boys State Basketball Championships. Live from the University of Wisconsin Fieldhouse in Madison, this WIAA Network Sports exclusive is brought to you statewide by Milk, the official beverage of the WIAA Games, and by the people who produce milk, the dairy farm families of Wisconsin. The rural insurance companies, providing Wisconsin families and businesses with a full line of insurance needs. Your local Cenex and Land O'Lakes cooperatives, providing quality petroleum products, crop inputs, and livestock feeds. Marshfield Clinic, a national leader in medical care, research, and education. And by Menards, helping families build America's heartland for 32 years. Save big money at Menards.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the University of Wisconsin Fieldhouse. And buckle up, everybody. Division I quarterfinals are coming at you. How you doing, everybody? I'm Chris Roth, and we're not going to ease you into this. We're going to hit you hard and heavy right out of the gate this afternoon with our defending champions from Milwaukee, Rufus King. They'll take on Janesville Craig, and we'll follow that up with Appleton West and Oshkosh North meeting for the third time this season. We'll take a break for dinner and come back with two more Division I quarterfinals. Madison West, the Regents, will take on Milwaukee Hamilton, and then Heartland Arrowhead taking on Eau Claire North. But as we said, that first game, the defending state champions against Janesville Craig, and to call it for us from Madison, Jay Wilson, and the head coach from Brookfield Central, Bill Groff. And Jay, all eyes on the defending champs.
Yeah, not only are they the defending champs, they're undefeated this season. And Bill Groff, a lot of people say that this King team has as much talent as any has been down here in the last, say, 20 years.
Well, they really do. They have 3 Division I players. They've been playing together, this group of starters, for 3 years. They're ranked number 11th in the country for the USA poll. They're the pre-tournament favorites. Everything's riding on them. Craig, on the other hand, does have tournament experience also. They were here last year. Several of their starters were here. Both teams are playing with a high degree of intensity and confidence. Kings won 34 in a row. Craig is very hot right now. They're on a roll. 18 of their last 19 games are victories. So I think that this game is going to be closer than a lot of people are figuring it out to be.
And watch out for Craig's Ben Berlowski. He scored 40 points in the sectional final, so that is going to be a key for Craig today to get him going.
And last year in the tournament, both teams came out of the gate fast. So this one should be good, and we are looking forward to it. Milwaukee King and Janesville Craig. Jay and Bill will be back after this to call it for you after these messages. This is your WIAA Network station.
After the games, there are 2 more significant trophies to be presented. The WIAA Boys and Girls Sportsmanship Awards, sponsored by the Rural Insurance Companies. Presented to the schools which demonstrate the best spirit of fellowship and good conduct, these awards recognize the true spirit of the games. The rural insurance companies support these high ideals and are proud to sponsor these trophies because they truly believe it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game.
Right now, save on storm doors and more at Menards. Larson Storm and Screen Doors are on sale. Larson doors are built with a solid wood core for extra strength, starting at just $88. And save on storm and screen door hardware from Wright Products. Choose from locks, closers, latches, and more. Now 20% off our everyday low prices. Make Menards your storm door headquarters.
Save big money at Menards.
For the last several years, we've been pioneers in the area of bringing to the entire upper Midwestern region, and specifically Wisconsin, the treatment of port wine stained birthmarks. And so for the first time, we've been able to treat not only adults, but infants and young children, and get excellent results at getting rid of this terrible stigma of the port wine stain. And now we can return them to a happy, non-disfigured life with a few simple treatments.
Remember last year's Division I final? Milwaukee King was down 3 to Tosa East in the final seconds of regulation. Harrell tries it, missed it. Curry back out to Harrell. Jackson at the buzzer. Got it! We're going to overtime. King went on to win 59-58 in overtime. We're ready to go for another Division I round with Milwaukee Rufus King as they try to defend the title. They come in at 24-0. Janesville Craig, the Cougars, come in at 18-5. Just about set for the starting lineups. And the play-by-play story of Division I quarterfinal number 1. Now we go to Fieldhouse Public Address announcer Jack Rain.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the 77th annual WIAA Boys State High School Basketball Tournament. Here are the starting lineups for this afternoon's first Division I quarterfinal. For the Generals of Milwaukee Rufus King. At forward, a 6'2" junior, number 32, MacArthur LaFleur. For the Cougars of Janesville Craig. At forward, a 6'3" senior, number 43, Ben Berlowski. For Rufus King, a 6'5" senior, number 55, Otto McDuffie. For Craig, a 6'4" senior, number 55, Matt Engstrom. In the middle, for Rufus King, a 6'7" senior, number 54, Brian Curry. For Craig, a 6'5" junior, number 53, Ryan Crone. The guards, for Rufus King, a 6' senior, number 51, Jamie Harrell. For Craig, a 5'7" senior, number 11, Matt Pierenboom. For King, a 5'11" senior, number 23, Eric Jackson. For Craig, a 5'8" senior, number 15, Todd Helbing. The King Generals are coached by Jim Goss. The Craig Cougars are coached by Bob Suter. The officials assigned to this afternoon's game by the WIAA are from the Eau Claire area, Jeff Abbott and Casey Eckhart.
Here, take a quick check of where these two schools are located. Janesville in the south central part of the state, and of course, Milwaukee King into the Lake Michigan side of the southeastern corner of Wisconsin. Bill Gropp, what does Janesville Craig have to do to compete and perhaps win today's game?
Well, I really think there are three concerns that Janesville's got: the experience of King, their size around the basket, and their quickness. If they somehow can find a way to neutralize those three things, they're going to be in this ball game.
Janesville Craig will be in the white uniforms with the blue letters. Milwaukee King in the dark uniforms with the yellow lettering. Jumping center will be number 53, Ryan Crone for Janesville Craig. And number 54, Brian Curry for Milwaukee King. Division I quarterfinals just about set. And we're underway as Craig controls the tip. Todd Helbing.
King starting out in their traditional pressure half-court man defense.
55 is Matt Engstrom. Berlowski.
Well, that's what Janesville needs, Jay. He's got to get hot and stay hot all afternoon.
Ben Berlowski scored 40 in the sectional final. He averages 28 points a game for Craig, and the Cougars take a 2-0 lead.
We saw a little token pressure in the back court that time by Janesville, just to pressure him a little bit and keep the ball out of the paint.
Harrell has it knocked away. That's Eric Jackson, one of the heroes of last year's championship final for King. 32 is MacArthur LaFleur. They try inside for McDuffie, but Engstrom picks it off.
You're going to see a lot of that this afternoon.
Thrown in the corner. Matt Pierenboom now has it. Thrown looking for Belowski, but it's stolen. MacArthur LaFleur. Here comes King.
That's something that Craig's really got to watch out for. The Betty Crockers are the turnovers in this game, and that's the first one.
Curry goes up for a shot. A foul before it on number 43, Ben Berlowski.
I think it's evident in the opening minutes here that King is really concentrating on trying to get the ball around the basket.
First personal, first team foul right off the inbound. McDuffie misses the shot. Here comes Berlowski against Jackson and McDuffie. Berlowski pulls up, and it'll stay with Craig.
What you're seeing here is Coach Suter's decision to go at King. He's not going to lay back. He's going to go at him when he's got the ball, and he's going to go at him defensively.
The inbound to Todd Helbing. That's Matt Engstrom. Helbing. Jackson takes it away from Engstrom. That's LaFleur. LaFleur has it again. He'll drive. He loses it off the knee, but no, it'll stay with Milwaukee King.
So far, Craig is doing a real nice job defensively. They're helping out from the weak side. They're putting pressure on the ball.
Inbound to McDuffie, and it's off the hands of McDuffie. Matt Engstrom with a great defensive play.
King is putting it up a little bit now, too. They're going to pressure full court. Double team, probably one pass when it's available. And they stayed in a straight man for man that time. No double teams.
Jackson guarding Pierenboom, I should say. That's Ryan Crone out front. Ben Berlowski to Pierenboom. Engstrom out high. In for Berlowski. Jackson with nice help from behind for the steal. 2 turnovers on Craig. 5:40 left, first quarter. Jackson, 3.
Well, that's going to be a momentum builder now.
But here comes Craig. Matt Engstrom, bothered by McDuffie, and McDuffie controls it.
That's one thing King has. They have an inside attack and an outside attack.
Jackson 3 again misses, and Berlowski pulls it down. Last year in the semifinals, Jackson hit 5 threes in the first half. So he's capable of hitting that long-range basket.
Janesville is doing a nice job of running their offense. Pretty good shot selection.
Helbing along the baseline. Overlays. Curry at 6'7", pulls it down for the Generals. 4:50 left, first quarter. 3-2 Milwaukee King.
You're going to see that all afternoon, that Curry and McDuffie just pound the boards and control them.
McDuffie, lane.
What I like was the look for him and found him on the assist.
Otto McDuffie's first 2 of the tournament. 5-2 King. Engstrom finds Pierenboom. Blocked by Harrell.
Janesville has done that quite a few times. They're taking their guards and posting them up.
Curry lane. Count the basket. You see Brian Curry at 6'7", floating in the lane for a beauty and a possible 3-point play.
Caught that ball with one hand, turned, took it to the basket.
Into the Craig lineup, number 45 is Chris Overly. And into the Milwaukee King lineup, number 15 is Afrashawn Diedrich. You talk about a quick player. Afrashawn Diedrich has some serious jets.
He's probably the quickest player on the floor right now. Also, expect some full court pressure if the free throw's made.
But it's missed. McDuffie rebounds. Pierenboom saves it back. No, he was on the line. King gets it with 4:09 left, first quarter.
I think this is going to tell us a lot on the part of Craig, how they answer this little spurt now that King has had. Hopefully this will be for them a stopper right here. Stop the run.
Well, how about Janesville, Craig? Last year they had undefeated Tulsa East in the first round. This year they have undefeated Milwaukee King.
Yeah, they're not getting a very good draw along the last 2 years here.
Bob Suter says that's why he never goes to Vegas. Jumper, Eric Jackson.
Well, let's see how Craig answers this now.
9-2 King. Berlowski made the first shot, but ever since it's been shut out for the Cougars. 21 is Deucer Slavin. He has the ball for Craig.
This is not unusual for King. They only give up about 49 points a game defensively.
They look for Berlowski, but Curry steals it. Jamie Harrell lays it in.
You don't want Betty Crocker whipping up a batch of turnovers in this game.
But Betty is playing for Janesville Craig right now. Overly missed. And we're going to get a foul inside. A push-off.
One thing's fairly obvious, Jay, and that is when Berlowski gets the ball, they're double teaming him. They really respect Ben. He's an excellent athlete. He's heading for the University of Minnesota Duluth next year.
And that foul is on Ben Berlowski, his second, with 2:51 remaining in the first quarter. Action in the 77th annual WIAA Boys Basketball Tournament continues after we hear from our statewide sponsors, Cenex Land O'Lakes. This is your WIAA network station.
For as long as we've been pumping gasoline, we've been pumping poisonous carbon monoxide into our air. It wasn't a major problem at first. There were simply fewer cars on the road. But over the years, as we've pumped more gasoline, our carbon monoxide emissions have grown too. And even though today's cleaner burning cars have helped reduce carbon monoxide levels, the problem persists for everyone. But part of a solution is already here: ethanol blended fuels. Ethanol blends reduce deadly carbon monoxide emissions significantly and help hold down ozone pollution in our cities. And a detergent in ethanol keeps engines running cleanly. That makes one conclusion perfectly clear: the more ethanol blends we pump into our cars, the less carbon monoxide we pump into our lungs.
Bad news for Janesville Craig early. Not only are they down 11-2, but Ben Berlowski is now out of the game, Bill.
Well, in addition to that, they were kind of cold the first couple of minutes here. They were 1 for 7 from the floor, and that's got to be improved if they're going to be in this ball game. They're coming at with a little three-quarter pressure here. Again, just to harass, just to keep King from running their offense the way they want to.
As you saw, King 5 out of 8 from the field to start. 11-2, Milwaukee King. 34 now in for Milwaukee King is Damian Mallory. That's Jamie Harrell. To Curry. Rebound to Jason Bresser, number 41. He's fouled by Damian Mallory.
Janesville Craig is really battling around the basket. They obviously don't have the jumping ability and the size, but they're working hard to get position. And that's going to be important down the road here if they're going to stay in this ball game.
Brian Crone returns to the Janesville Craig lineup. There's a good matchup. Pierenboom against Afrashawn Diedrich.
Quick on quick, Jay.
Bresser finds Engstrom. And a foul.
Boy, they needed that one to drop just to inch back into this thing. But it was a nice backdoor play.
The foul on Afrashawn Diedrich. The 77th annual Boys State Tournament is brought to you statewide by the farm families who produce milk, the official beverage of the WIAA. Crone's inbound Knocked away by Damian Mallory. And another turnover for Craig. That's number 4. Jackson to Harrell. He can hit it. Short.
There's an example of a three-point shot bouncing high and farther out than a normal field goal attempt.
Boom is triple teamed, and he's fortunate to get out of that as Mallory kicked it out of bounds. Into the Milwaukee King lineup, number 21, Justin Peters. He's the brother of Jay Peters, who played for Janesville Craig and the University of Wisconsin.
Jay, as we go along, you're going to find out that there are a lot of basketball family connections out here. Eric Jackson, for example, is the son of the assistant coach, Al Jackson, who played at Lincoln High School.
Uh-oh, Curry's loose.
Oh, boy, put that in the highlight film. That one rocked the field house, folks.
Craig has got to score a basket to stop this tide. Bresser tries. And here comes King after Sean Diedrich.
Craig definitely does not want this game to turn into a dunk-a-thon.
As we approach the final minute, 13-2 King, first quarter. Jackson wide open. Boom rebounds for Craig. He has Crone on the right. Foul on Diedrich.
That was another example down the defensive end of a smaller player getting good position and ending up with the rebound in his hands. I think another thing we're going to be watching, Jay, is whether or not Berlowski is going to come back in at the start of the second quarter. I don't think they can last much longer without him in the game.
Rob Kurtz, Todd Helbing, and Derek Bills into the Janesville Craig lineup. And in for King, number 53 is Dan Ninkovic, a 6'9" sophomore.
Dan's a good player. He's a space eater. He'll do his share of rebounding.
That's Bills. Watch Diedrich. But Todd Helbing gets it back.
Craig is going to have to get used to that pressure because they're going to do that all afternoon.
Engstrom. Foul. Foul.
You see a lot of quick feet and a lot of quick hands out here today, and sometimes something like that happens so fast, and the official has to make that decision. Did he touch the ball, or did he get part of the hand and the arm?
Second personal foul on Damian Mallory. Fourth team foul on Milwaukee King. Matt Engstrom at the free throw line for Janesville Craig. King goes to the bench again. Number 45 is Kewan Simon.
Both teams have been rotating people in and out, and I think that down the road this is going to be helpful. They don't want their teams tired at crunch time.
Engstrom is 69% free throw shooter. One thing Craig does very well is shoot free throws. Boom 70, Todd Helbing 68, Bren Berlowski 86, Ryan Crone 60, Matt Engstrom 69.
Their team shoots 70% for the season.
Here comes Chris Oberle back in.
Craig is going to come back with their 2-2-1 full court press here. Again, they're not going to double team. They're just going to create a little havoc, pressure the ball a little bit.
Well, the good news is Craig is finally off of 2 points, but the bad news is they're still down 13-4 if you're a Cougar fan. Final seconds of the first quarter.
King is going to play for one shot. They're going to start putting it in action about 5 seconds.
Jackson, short. Crone rebounds, and that's the quarter. Milwaukee King by 9. We'll return after these messages from your local station. This is your WIAA network station.
John Deere is proud to introduce 3 new walk-behind mowers. One's a mulching mower that's good for the environment because it eliminates grass clippings. This one offers easy rear bagging, and finally there's one that gives you the convenience of side discharge. You get all 3 mowers when you buy just this one. The new John Deere Tricycler mower, available now at your John Deere dealer.
Middleton Power Center, West Beltline Highway, Middleton. Evergreen Equipment, Connie D.R. Monroe. Farmers Implement, Highway 35, Bloomington. And Dave's Turf and Marine, Highway 16, East Watertown.
Yamaha lowers the boom on boredom, and if it can be built, Yamaha has it in their lean street machines, high-tech road runners, or dirt toss and off-road cycles. Go your own way with Yamaha, a leader in the motorcycle industry. Motorcycling is one of the few joys in life equal to the free-spirited feel. So buy Yamaha. Where we don't live up to the standard, we exceed it. In Richland Center, see Vitesnik Motors. In Madison, Young America Sports Center. And in Jefferson, see Four Seasons Yamaha.
Jay Wilson and Bill Groff back at the field house. Last year in Janesville, Craig's first game here at the tournament, they went ahead of Tosa East 15-2. Well, this year it's a much different story as King leads Craig 13-4. Bill?
Well, I hope that's a good omen, Jay. One thing to explain the score is Janesville Craig shot 13% from the floor. Milwaukee King a very respectable 46%.
Now, as a team, normally Craig shoots 51% from the field, which is a very good statistic, but so far, that is not the case.
Well, they've been pressured. King will apply pressure all the time. That affects shooting style.
Berlowski is back in for Craig. He has 2 fouls and 2 points.
They need him in here. We were just speculating, even if he were to commit his 3rd foul, I think you've got to keep your best shooter in the ball game now.
MacArthur LaFleur is back in, number 32 for King. That's Jamie Harrell in the corner.
You can see Craig, they're bottling up the middle.
Jackson, Helbing with a steal.
On that defensive sequence, there were 5 white shirts in the paint on defense.
3rd turnover on King. 7 minutes left, 2nd quarter. King by 9. Berlowski.
That'll help. That's what they need, though. They need him back in the game for his shooting and his leadership.
Janesville Craig has always had great scores. Jay Peters, Rob Lagerman, Jeff Regas, Dave and Jim Jackson last year, and now it's Ben Berlowski averaging 28 points.
I talked to Bob Suter about that, and he says it's just great coaching.
You'd probably say the same thing.
That's true.
Here's another turnover. Peerenboom. What a defensive play by Harrell.
Another Betty Crocker, Jay.
Jackson with a little move behind the back. He still has it. McDuffie, foul, Crone. Another interesting part of the first quarter statistics, Bill. Look at that bottom line right there.
Turnovers will kill you, whether they're forced or just happen without any pressure on you.
And you convert off those, and it adds up the points.
That wins ball games.
Inbound to LaFleur. He gets it back out to Jackson. They try inside for LaFleur, but that's Crone on the floor, still fighting, and it's a tie-up.
Ryan really did a great job of denying that pass into the block that time. They're very concerned about King's inside game.
Jim Goss says, what are you doing out there? 5 turnovers on King now as we close in on the 6-minute mark of the 2nd quarter. 13-6. Milwaukee King. Craig has the only 2 points of the quarter. Crone finds Helbing.
When you get an open shot against a pressure defense, you got to make them, and he did. He stepped right up there. Nice follow-through. They come back with a 2-2-1 pressure situation.
And if you can get someone other than Berlowski to hit him, too, that helps. 6-0 run by Craig here.
They actually have very good balance in their scoring outside of Berlowski.
LaFleur, Berlowski rebounds. Peerenboom on the left. In the lane to Engstrom. Whistle. Foul, McDuffie.
There's another good thing that Berlowski does for Craig. Got the rebound and led the fast break that time.
Appershaw Diedrich returns to the Milwaukee King lineup. The WIAA State Boys Basketball Tournament is brought to you statewide by Rural Insurance Companies, providing Wisconsin families and businesses with a full line of insurance needs. Here's Craig, down 5. Berlowski, free throw line. Good.
Made a nice flash cut to the free throw line, squared up, shot it well.
And King's defenders are right up on him when he's hitting those shots, too, and that's a pushing foul on Craig.
Well, one thing about Ben, he doesn't average 27 points because he's just lucky. He's used to shooting with a lot of pressure on him. It's been on him all season long.
Foul on Todd Helbing, his first 5th team foul on Craig. Helbing departs. In comes number 23, Rob Kurtz, a 6'1" junior who can hit the three-pointer occasionally. Well, all of a sudden we have a three-point game with 5:05 left in our first half.
Well, I think everybody knew that Craig is just too good to get blown out.
Jackson almost threw it away, but Diedrich's speed got it back. Curry now at the free throw line. That's knocked away by Rob Kurtz.
You can see what King was trying to do on that sequence. They had Curry at the high post. He gets the pass in, and he immediately turns to see if he can dump it down to Otto McDuffie.
Curry. Beauty.
That's what Craig has got to prevent from happening.
6 points for Brian Curry. The lead back to 5. Matt Engstrom is 6'4", senior. They look for Berlowski. He's being guarded by Jamie Harrell. Kurtz. 3!
Craig showed nice patience that time. 5 passes before they got the shot they wanted to take.
All you ever hear about Craig is Ben Berlowski, but we've seen a couple of guys that can hit shots too. That's a foul on Pierenboom.
You know, that's one thing that Coach Suter and I talked about yesterday. They really have nice scoring in addition to Ben. They have some complementary players on this Craig team.
First personal foul on Matt Pierenboom, number 6 on Janesville Craig. And Suter also says that he has never seen a team improve more from players 1 to 20. Obviously, he only dressed 15 in a state tournament. But of the 20 players he's had, he's never seen improvement like he has this year.
Well, and that's really satisfying if you're a coach. If your team improves, then all the individuals on it improve.
McDuffie stolen. Pierenboom has Berlowski over Jackson. What a move!
They're right back in it now, Jay. We got a new ball game. And Coach Gods has seen enough of this for a while.
It was 13-4 at the quarter, but now we're tied at 15 with 3:48 remaining in the second quarter. Well, Craig's back, Bill.
Well, they really are, and I think here's the reason why they're back. Pass up court to Berlowski. Goes hard to the basket. Makes a nice adjustment in the air and kisses it off the glass. It's 15 all.
These guys are playing up in the air, aren't they? Wow.
That's why he's going to be a good player at Minnesota Duluth.
Now, how about Milwaukee King? All year long, they've had this kind of situation, I think, where everybody gets so pumped up, so fired up to play a #1 team, an undefeated team, a defending state champion. So this is something they're certainly used to.
No, it's not new. They've been basically having their way all season. They've only been behind in 1 game, and that was with Milwaukee, Washington. They were down 12, and they came back and beat Washington in overtime. But most of the season, it's been this situation. People go at them and play their best. So every game has been a challenge for King.
You saw Craig now 5 of 5 from the field in the second quarter. That has them back in the tie, and 6 points off turnovers. So after the first quarter, King was leading in points off turnovers 7-0, but now Craig has scored 6. So again, just like last week in the girls tournament, turnovers turning into points, and that has the Cougars even with the Generals. 3:48 left, first half. Appleton West, Sheboygan North to follow in Division I. Jackson to McDuffie. Miss. Curry can't follow, and there's a foul inside. Looks like it'll be on Rob Kurtz.
That was a very nice penetration move, and then the dish off. You've got to stop the ball, but then you have to be concerned about, well, who's in the area as that dribbler is going to pass off to.
And sometimes you have guys that are too quick in that situation as far as guards delivering the ball. But these guys have played together so long, they know what Jackson's going to do with it usually.
They could probably play a ball game with blinders on, Jim, or blindfolds. They're 3 years together as starters.
Otto McDuffie. His 3rd point of the game.
That's a big free throw for King, and I'll tell you why. They do not shoot free throws very well. They, for the season, are below 60%.
That one short, and Engstrom rebounds for Janesville Craig to get it right in the hands of Berlowski. To Kurtz. Berlowski again on Jackson. Foul, Eric Jackson.
I think it's very crucial for Craig every time down the floor that Ben Berlowski touches the ball. I don't think they can have too many trips down the floor without him having the ball and being a threat.
First personal on Jackson, team foul number 6 on Milwaukee King. Craig with 17 fouls, so King in the bonus. Milwaukee King, first place in the Milwaukee City Conference as Ryan Crone returns to the Craig lineup. Janesville Craig's Cougars, second to Madison West in the Southern Wisconsin Conference. The Big 8, they call it, in the southern part of the state. Of course, Madison West will play another Division I quarterfinal later this evening at 7 o'clock. Here's Craig now. Berlowski, foul, count it.
It's going to be a three-point basket, and he's going to go to the free throw line. We have a possibility of a 4-point play.
Craig's first lead since a 2-0 start.
Here you see it. He squares up. Great rotation on the ball. He gets fouled in the act of shooting. We've got a 4-point play possibility.
And you see some of the King faces. You probably don't see it on our high shots very much, but we're right down here on the court. King has this look like, wow, what's going on here?
Jay, it's March Madness, and anything can happen.
Berlowski 5 of 6 from the field, and most of those with a hand in his face. Craig now has a 19-16 lead, but the Generals could turn that around in a hurry. Jackson, three-pointer, miss. Diedrich rebounds for King.
Another one of those three-pointers that bounce high and long.
Curry, miss. Here comes Craig. That's Crone. Oh, nice play by Ryan Crone.
You really got to admire Craig. They do not walk it up. They're going to attack when they get the rebound.
This place is buzzing. 21-16 Craig.
This is a nice little run for Janesville.
There's inside to McDuffie.
That's going to be a problem. So far, Craig's handled it pretty well, though.
3-point lead for Craig. Kurtz. Jackson rebounds for King. The Generals can cut it to 1. They get it ahead to Harrell. What a move! Count it!
Oh, boy, that's a big league move.
Harrell averages 14 points. Jackson, Curry, and McDuffie get a lot of attention, but Harrell's a ball player.
Great little spin move. He caught the ball with one hand initially off the long pass, maneuvered in the air. He's a good player.
He's looking for his 5th point, is Jamie Harrell. If he makes the foul shot, we have a tie game again with 2:01 left. Steal. Foul. Engstrom fouled Harrell. Will go to the line.
That's what a coach would call a smart foul. There's a possibility there of a breakaway and a dunk at the end. And he made it look like he was going for the ball, and he's got a King player on the line, and that's one of the things they don't do very well. So it was a smart play.
And unless you're down here on the floor, you really don't realize how quick all these players are and how much is going on and how much you have to look out for.
You've got to protect the ball in this ball game.
Harrell now with 6 points, a 6-foot senior. Substitution from Craig, number 41, Jason Bresser. Replaces Ryan Crone.
So far, King's old nemesis of poor free throw shooting is not materializing. They're doing well.
Well, I tell you, they're banging underneath. Engstrom wiped out the whole crowd on that rebound. And now a turnover. Here come the Generals. Leading by 1. Jackson, 3, miss. Look at McDuffie's sky.
That's something. You force a three-point shot and you get an offensive rebound and you put it back up. You got to prevent King from put-back baskets.
Craig had a 5-point lead, but now King is up 3. Berlowski around Jackson. Berlowski gets it back over Curry. Tie-up goes for King.
That was great effort on the part of Ben Berlowski. He could have just stood out there and shook his head, but he followed his shot, got the rebound, and took it strong to the basket again. I'll tell you, Janesville Craig is not backing down. King may be number one, but they're going to make them prove it today.
1:10 left in the first half. King by 3. Jackson goes around Engstrom. Jackson rebounds and scores.
That's one of those putback baskets. You've got to box that man out. It'd be interesting now to see if Craig wants to hold it for one or just work until they get a good shot.
Now Milwaukee King is on a 10-0 run. That's a three-pointer by Bresser. McDuffie rebounds.
I think King's going to pull it out, Jay, and just play for the last shot. They do this almost every quarter that they've played in this year.
They have a 5-point advantage, 26-21.
Action will start with about 6 seconds on the clock. That's when they start trying to make something happen. Right about now.
Here we go. Diedrich. McDuffie, will he have time? Yes. Nope. Doesn't go in. But what a first half. Up and down. King by 5. The 77th annual WIAA Boys Basketball Championships will continue after these messages from our statewide sponsors, Rural Insurance Companies, and the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board. This is your WIAA network station.
Wisconsin is famous for milk as fresh, pure, and wholesome as Wisconsin itself. And the great tasting dairy products we make from our milk. That's why wherever you go in America, you'll find more and more people looking for dairy products made right here in Wisconsin. Look for them in your supermarket. They're America's dairy finest, homegrown in Wisconsin.
You're a pretty good driver. What makes a good driver? Well, it's not what you drive. Golden rocket. And it's not where you drive. It's how you drive. Avoid the company of bad drivers. And you won't pay for their mistakes. So, how will you drive?
It's been a game of streaks, and at the end of the first half, Milwaukee Kings streak has the Generals ahead 26-21. Bill Graff, both teams had the advantage for a good part of that first half, but the King explosion near the end of it put them ahead.
Well, it was, but I think if you're Coach Suter and the Craig players, being down 5 at this point is not a bad position to be in. One of the problems with King is they traditionally all season long, their worst quarter of the ball games that they've been in has been the third quarter. They have trouble coming out after halftime and refocusing their efforts.
And one thing I think that we saw, too, is that if any team gets down by an appreciable amount, the other team can certainly get right back in it and come back.
Well, that's what teams have. If you can come back and answer runs, that shows your team has a lot of character.
All right, 2 more quarters to go, at least, as King has the lead at halftime. Now let's go to the other side and Chris Ross.
All right, thanks very much, Jane. It's been just what we promised. Lots of excitement. 26-21, King at the break. You know, there's no doubt we're getting a chance to watch some special athletes here in the field house over the past couple of weeks. But some athletes never make it to Madison. Instead, they perform in their own special arena. You'll see what I mean in this next piece about the Wisconsin Special Olympics.
There are faces that once you've seen them, you never forget. Wisconsin Special Olympics is full of those faces.
I guess the thing that really amazed me as I got to know, especially adults with mental retardation, was how much more they're like me than different from me.
You may have passed these faces on the street without noticing them. You may have even looked away from some of them. You may not believe such faces can be beautiful.
I stopped seeing those little characteristics, and instead I think of, you know, that smiling face or that person that, you know, I just had a chat with.
I just have so much fun working with them that, to me, they don't have any disabilities.
The Special Olympics oath says, let me win. But if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt. Courage is one emotion that makes the faces of Special Olympics so unforgettable.
They don't need any pity. They don't want any pity. They want a chance.
And Special Olympics taps into a huge potential for relationship that people with mental retardation often don't get to express, to share, to form friendships, to participate in the social world around them, to know the joys of teamwork and camaraderie.
There's a special camaraderie with Special Olympians. I mean, high five had to be invented by a Special Olympian.
Special Olympics offers year-round training and competition in Olympic-type sports to people with mental retardation. Specially trained coaches work with over 1 million athletes ages 8 to adult in over 100 area or regional meets, annual competitions in softball, soccer, volleyball, basketball, track and field, aquatics, skiing, skating, and more. There are 5 statewide competitions, winter and summer. There are other faces, too. The faces of the people who support Special Olympics, who make it work.
If you ever wanted to have some time where you feel good, you get involved with these kids and I can guarantee you'll never have another down day.
Special Olympics is literally a gift from the people of Wisconsin. No federal funds support us, no dollars from charitable agencies. If it weren't for direct contributions from Wisconsin citizens and businesses, there would be no Special Olympics. And there's another kind of giving, people giving of themselves, giving of their time, their energy, their knowledge, skills, and love.
It's fun because you're teaching people something, and these people, the athletes, are learning, and they're growing.
Special Olympics runs on this kind of contribution as much as on money, and there's a great need for more people. For every individual with mental retardation who has known the joy of competition and companionship through Special Olympics, 5 or 6 more never get the chance. Right now, 12,000 Wisconsin volunteers are helping 7,000 Special Olympic participants. We want to be able to serve 10,000 more, and we need thousands more volunteers to do it. We need coaches, scorekeepers, events organizers, or just greeters, encouragers, and spectators.
Well, the one thing I always say to people is I give them a warning that once you start to volunteer for Special Olympics, you're addicted because it's too much fun and it becomes too big a part of your life.
To be part of this experience, call Special Olympics at 608-222-1324. When you volunteer, you'll receive training that makes the experience more meaningful for you and more valuable for the participants. And then something wonderful will happen. Those faces, the faces of Special Olympics, will be shining for you.
All right, we are very happy now to be joined by the executive director of the Wisconsin Special Olympics, Dennis Aldridge. And Dennis, this is a big WIAA event here, but they help out you guys as well. Can you explain a little bit about your relationship?
We have a lot of our programs that are hosted out of WIAA member schools, and I really want to thank Doug Chickering and Karen Kuhn for helping us the last 2 years put together our public service spot that you just saw, and really help us give the kind of visibility with an athletic program that we are in conjunction with a real fine athletic program that the WIAA puts together. So we're really proud to be associated with the WIAA and their efforts.
You seem to be growing right along with the WIAA, and we look at this basketball tournament. This may be the biggest in the state, but you've got a pretty big one coming up as well. Tell me a little bit about that tournament up in Oshkosh.
Well, we have our state basketball tournament coming up at the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of April. We'll have about 700 athletes, and that means 40 teams. And we also have a gymnastics section to the tournament, and we'll have about 75 of our gymnasts there. It's a real community event. There are over 400 volunteers involved. It's the 16th year that the University of Oshkosh has been involved in hosting it. And like this tournament brings athletes and families together, we have over 40 communities around the state of Wisconsin that will be represented at our state basketball tournament. So we're really, really proud of that. And our athletes are going to give it all they can at our tournament in April.
Should be exciting. Good luck with that one, Dennis. Thanks for stopping by. And Jay and Bill will be back with that exciting second half action after these messages from your local stations. This is your WIAA network station.
When you buy a high-quality Comfort Maker furnace or air conditioner, you get superb home comfort and something more. High energy efficiencies that could mean big savings on your utility bills. Day after day, month after month, year after year. Comfort Maker, all the comforts of home.
In Windsor, contact A. Windsor Sheet Metal. In Columbus, contact Quality Electric and Heating. Or in Madison, contact Heating and Cooling Incorporated.
Yamaha. Lowers the boom on boredom, and if it can be built, Yamaha has it in their lean street machines, high-tech road runners, or dirt toss and off-road cycles. Go your own way with Yamaha, a leader in the motorcycle industry. Motorcycling is one of the few joys in life equal to the free-spirited feel. So buy Yamaha. Where we don't live up to the standard, we exceed it. In Richland Center, see Vitesnik Motors. In Madison, Young America Sports Center. And in Jefferson, see Four Seasons Yamaha.
Jay Wilson and Bill Groff back with you. Janesville Craig trailing King at halftime by 5. Oshkosh North and Appleton West to follow. Really a game of streaks in the first half, Bill, as we take a look at the highlights.
It really has, and each team answered each other's run.
So we start out King with the first run of the game. Eric Jackson started things off with a long three-point play. And then we're going to see Brian Curry come up with the steal. He'll get it ahead to Harrell, and King is out 13-2.
Well, this was the time that Janesville had to overcome something.
And they had to overcome a little bit more, as the next play will show. Brian Curry right into your living room.
Here's one that makes everything rattle in here.
Then it was time for a Janesville Craig run. Ben Berlowski, who went out with 2 quick fouls, got back in the lineup, and he got hot.
That's a nice shot with somebody right on him.
And he wasn't the only Cougar to hit. Todd Helbing will come back with a jumper.
Nobody recovered in time to guard him, and he hit the open shot, which he had to at that point.
And then it was Berlowski again. Again, he's hitting most of these shots with someone right in his face.
That was a nice cutoff of a screen. He squared up and hit the jumper.
Craig getting a contribution from another player, as Rob Kurtz will hit a long one.
It's really great to see somebody come off the bench and hit a key shot like that and help his team out.
Okay, coverage of the 77th annual WIAA Boys State Basketball Championships continue after these messages from your local station. This is your WIAA network station.
You can always spot an Endress pier by its strength, safety, handsome redwood decking, and of course its beautiful construction. The Endress pier has modular decking to install easily, locking in place. So whether sunning, swimming, or boarding boats, the galvanized steel frames of the Endress pier can be adjusted to the perfect height. Endress piers are manufactured in Waunakee, Wisconsin, and sold directly from the factory.
I need a new car, but let me warn you, I'm fussy. I never did meet a man good enough to marry.
Uh-oh, I better handle this one. Ma'am, I'm Dick Angstead from Angstead Chevrolet Geo. We've got the finest selection in new and used cars and trucks, but our sales staff still follows the traditional values of quality service and respect for the customer.
I'll take it, Dick. Say, you aren't married, are you?
George will take over from here.
The third quarter is underway. You haven't missed a thing. 26-21. Craig trailing. And as they scrap, Berlowski traveled. Well, we checked the halftime stats, Bill. Bob Suter said he wanted to control King's inside kids, and Craig wouldn't back down. And those numbers say they've done a pretty good job in the first half.
I think the most important stat there is that 16 to 13 rebound edge. That is one thing that they were worried about, and they're doing a nice job. It's not out of control.
Harrell three.
But that was.
So very quickly, King has opened up an 8-point lead.
Well, and the key to it was a turnover on one end results in a 3-point conversion on the other end.
Now Craig has to find an answer. Pressure. Helbing. Backs off from Curry.
Watch him move. Watch the back pick. Come on, back through.
Engstrom out high.
This is one thing that Craig did in the first half, too. They pulled their big guys out and posted up their perimeter people.
Engstrom with a left hand. Curry, rebound. King. WIAA state tournament action is brought to you statewide by Marshfield Clinic, a national leader in medical care, research, and education.
One thing that Janesville is doing is they're getting back in their defensive transition very well.
Otto McDuffie with 9 points. Suddenly a 10-point lead.
It doesn't take long, Jay. Things happen in matters of seconds in this type of a game.
A 15-0 run for King. They've scored all 5 points in the third quarter.
Don't let him go baseline.
Craig in the same position it was in at the start of the first quarter. when they fell behind 13-2. Here's Berlowski, foul on Harrell.
Well, the nice thing about that was they got the ball in the hands of the guy they wanted to. He goes to the line. He's a great free throw shooter. Something like 84% from the free throw line. You make a couple free throws here, you set up some full court pressure, hopefully get a turnover, and you're right back in it in a matter of 5-10 seconds.
Berlowski has 12 points today. Not only does he shoot 86% from the line, he's a 59% field goal shooter, and a lot of those shots are from a little ways out. And he's not the only successful athlete in the family. His sister Jessica, a member of the 1991 Janesville Craig State Cross Country Championship team.
Picture perfect. That is a textbook example of how to shoot a free throw.
He shoots 86%, but he goes to the line an awful lot too, so that's no fluke. Ball out of bounds to Craig.
Another example of something that drives coaches crazy. You come all the way down the floor with a possession and you don't get a shot off of it.
6:10 left, third quarter. 31-23. Milwaukee King. Pierenboom is double teamed. Finds Helbing.
What Milwaukee King will do is once you turn your back, the other defensive player from the backside will come and double team you. You don't even see him.
Berlowski has been yelling for a pick, and he finally got one, and now he'll get a shot that goes off the rim. Helbing has it back, looking for Berlowski, but King's quickness steals it. McDuffie has it. 11 turnovers on Craig. Harrell, block, thrown. They'll give it to Craig.
Craig really needed that right now at this point. They did not need that margin to go back up to 10.
21 Deucer Slavin back in for Craig. 15 Afrashan Diedrich back in for King.
King has moved their defensive pressure to about a three-quarter pressure type situation now.
Pierenboom drives. Rebound, Berlowski.
That was just great. That was challenging the inside people, and Berlowski following up his teammates' missed layup.
16 for Berlowski. I don't know if anyone expected Pierenboom to shoot it. Blocking foul, number 55, Matt Engstrom.
Right now, Jay, both teams are going right at each other.
Jackson's quickness created this.
Well, that one's a tough call to make. Did he get it with the body even though his hands were on the ball?
Yeah, that's the other side. We talked about on the players have so much to think about. The officials in a game with two quick teams like this have their hands full as well. Diedrich won't try three. McDuffie to Jackson.
Great example of getting the ball inside and then kicking it outside to your best shooter.
Play is stopped as the net was wrapped around the rim. 4:56 left now, third quarter. 33-25, Milwaukee King.
Now we've got full court pressure. Obviously, King would like to blow this open right now if they could.
Deucer Slavin working against Afrashan Diedrich. 11 is Matt Pierenboom. He's a senior. Engstrom is a senior, number 55. Berlowski gets a pick. And it's going to be a foul on Otto McDuffie. His second.
Not a real smart play. Berlowski was not in a scoring threat position. It was just a wasted foul as far as I was concerned.
Second team foul on Milwaukee King in the half. Janesville Craig with only one team foul. Berlowski's open now. Engstrom jumped too soon on the rebound, and McDuffie will get it. Actually, Curry was right up on Berlowski all of a sudden as he flew through the air. Inside for Curry now. Double team. King keeps it.
He was double teamed that time, and two other guys were on their way, so it was going to be a sandwich situation.
Kewan Simon back in.
One thing that Craig is definitely preventing is that King is not getting fast break baskets off of their rebounds. They're getting back real well.
Curry can't handle the pass off of McDuffie. Craig will keep it. We've been stuck on 33-25 for a little bit.
The last two trips down, King has just really concentrated on forcing it actually into the middle.
Jim Goss, the King coach, told us yesterday that if the score of the game were in the 80s, that would help Janesville Craig's chances. But if it's in the 50s, then King would be in good shape. And it looks like we're headed to the 50s, and King has an 8-point lead. Engstrom.
Get on it! Get on it!
Oh, and he threw it out of bounds. Slavin was cutting toward the basket, but Engstrom threw it behind him. 12 turnovers for King.
And again, the main reason for that happening was the defensive pressure. Pressure on the ball and pressure in the passing lane to the next nearest receiver. King does a great job of playing defense.
Todd Helbing in for Deucer Slavin. For the Cougars. Diedrich. Oh, that time he just threw it out of bounds.
Well, right now we're just trading turnovers here. We got an apple turnover for a cherry turnover, and the light bulbs aren't changing on the scoreboard.
We may burn a couple out there on so long, the same ones.
Craig has to get a bucket here, though.
Berlowski gets it.
That's not only a bucket, that's a bucket with an extra point added on. He's a great shooter.
Tremendous. 19 for Berlowski. He shoots 49% from three-point range.
Janesville Craig had a little double team action of their own in the half court here.
Diedrich tries it. Engstrom rebounds. Craig can cut it to 3.
Diedrich just short-armed that one. It hit the front of the rim. He didn't have enough arc on his shot.
Oh, man. Foul on Eric Jackson, number 3. They're trying so hard to work a pick for Berlowski to free him up, and everybody got tangled up that time, and Berlowski fell to the floor, and because Jackson didn't give him enough room to get by.
Well, and the nice thing is that you saw defensive pressure on the cutter, and you saw a nice offensive screen. So 2 good things were happening on that play.
Our state tournament coverage continues after these messages from our statewide sponsors, Marshfield Clinic and Menards. This is your WIAA network station.
Beautify your bath with remodeling ideas from Menards. Tub surround kits by Design House are on sale now. They're easy to install and easy to clean. This white trio tub surround is just $29.99 and adds style with a mirrored medicine cabinet by Nautilus. Choose from traditional and contemporary styles on sale now, starting at just $9.99. Remember Menards for all your bath remodeling projects.
Save big money at Menards.
They're treated like number 1. When a patient comes up there and wants their car parked, I park their car for them, go and get it again for them if they can't walk. And if they don't know where to park, I see that they get on a shuttle bus, which is another nice thing that we have here at Marshall Clinic. You know what I call it? Curb-to-curb service. You know what? Excellent. It really is. Yeah, I really think we got the best service that any clinic could ever have in the United States. There's nothing better than the Marshall Clinic that I could see.
Truly has been a game of streaks. King went on a 13-0 run. Then Craig answered with a 19-3 run. King then with a 15-0 run. And now Janesville Craig has scored a 3-point basket to make it a 5-point game. There you see Janesville Craig coach Bob Suter and Milwaukee King coach Jim Goss. Really a contrast there, as Suter has been coaching basketball at Janesville Craig for some 24 years, the last 6 as the head coach. And Jim Goss in his 2nd year, if you can believe it, at King. And he has 1 state title, looking for a 2nd.
And then we've got a lot of coaches sitting in the field house who have never been here and just dreaming about being in this situation.
Name 1.
I'll pass. No comment.
Someday.
We hope.
Maybe. 2:45 left, 3rd quarter. Helbing. Can Berlowski create a shot? Wow.
He not only created it, he converted on it. This is a nice little run now for Craig. They're back in it.
21 for Berlowski, and he still only has 2 fouls that he got very early in the 1st quarter. Can King answer? They look inside for Curry. Foul. Ryan Crone, number 53.
Again, now there's a situation where you have Jamie Harrell, who is a very good shooter, and including a 3-point shooter, giving up a shot to try and force it down around the basket.
Watch the fouls now as they inbound to Curry for 2. That's 3 fouls on Ryan Crone. Matt Engstrom has 2. Here's Crone. Lost it. Berlowski follows.
Great putback basket because he followed up.
23 for Berlowski. Foul, no.
If anybody thought that Janesville Craig was going to crack, I've got news for them. They're not.
And it was a foul, and it was a foul on Eric Jackson, number 4. Watch Berlowski.
There's the miss, and Ben follows it up.
Boy, and Eric Jackson is frustrated. 4 fouls on Eric Jackson.
Well, you just took some offensive scoring punch out of their lineup now, Jay.
Berlowski goes up. Foul, a 3-point foul. 3 shots coming for Berlowski as he fouled outside of the arc.
Well, in the first half, we saw him.
That's Harrell getting a hand on him.
In the first half, we saw Ben get fouled and make a 3-pointer. This time he got fouled, and now he's going to be rewarded with 3 free throws. I think it's a great rule. They should have probably passed it and put it into the rule book a year before they did. This is the first year for high school. They had it in college. And again, if Janesville had 1 player on the free throw line that they wanted, this is the man.
Remember, Berlowski played with Craig last year in their quarterfinal loss to Tosa East. Then the Jacksons, Jim and Dave, were the focused attraction, but Berlowski played a good game that day too, and now he has come on to be the showcase player for Craig this year. Makes the second again. He'll get 1 more.
I thought maybe I jinxed him on that first one, but he's just too good a shooter. He's not going to miss more than 2 out of 10.
Yeah, even if you shoot 86, you got to miss one once in a while.
And we'll forgive him for that.
Berlowski has 13 points this quarter. It is a 1-point game. Milwaukee Kings still with the lead and the basketball with 1:45 left in the 3rd quarter.
This is something uncharacteristic of Craig. They're playing a zone defense now, a 1-2-2.
And Curry's shot is rebounded by Berlowski. The Cougars can get the lead back. Helbing is wide open. He won't take it. Engstrom now. Here's Helbing. Good.
Oh, boy.
That's for 3.
Craig is back, folks.
First lead for Craig since 21-18. But here comes King. Curry missed. McDuffie over the back. What are they going to call? If it's on Berlowski, it's 3.
It is on Ben. Watch the position. Well, it looked like they may have 2 for a takedown on that play.
That's tough to get your arm taken off like that and get a foul, too.
I thought Ben had good position on that play.
Inbound to McDuffie. Tie game. A minute left, 3rd quarter. Engstrom. Player possession foul. Player control.
Okay, there's an example. Matt didn't have to do that. All he had to do is go straight up, and he probably would have had 2 points. But when you get the ball down around the basket, most of the time, if you lean in toward the basket, that defensive player will foul you. Just poor judgment.
Foul number 3 on Engstrom. Crone has 3. Berlowski has 3 for Craig. Eric Jackson with 4 for Milwaukee King. Now, as you say, Bill, no surprise here as King pulls it out.
Well, this is something they do sometimes with 1 minute and 20 seconds every quarter. They'll pull it out and play for 1 shot. And they've got so many good players that it really doesn't matter who gets the ball with 4 or 5 seconds remaining in the game.
I think some of these guys are happy they get a chance to take a little rest here.
Well, they've been going up and down pretty good. Actually, what happens with this, if you think about it, in this sequence here, King could possibly score 4 to 5 to 6 points, and they're kind of helping Craig in this situation. They keep Craig in the ball game.
Again, 6 seconds, the magic mark. That's when they'll start making things happen.
Here it comes.
Here it is. Harrell. Oh, nice play by Engstrom to knock it out of bounds. Now you have the ball inbound with 2.6, and your options aren't quite as many.
Well, 2.6 with the ball underneath your basket is a lot of time, though. Kind of crowded around the basket.
Kewan Simon block. Todd Helbing. Well, a few more options just went out the window with a second left.
Well, they're going to get 2 shots here with less than 3 seconds on the clock.
That's Harrell. It'll count, but it's off the rim. 8 minutes remaining. Tie game. We'll return after these messages from your local station. This is your WIAA network station.
When you buy a high-quality Comfort Maker furnace or air conditioner, you get superb home comfort and something more. High energy efficiencies that could mean big savings on your utility bills. Day after day, month after month, year after year. Comfort Maker, all the comforts of home.
In Sun Prairie, contact Service Specialists Incorporated. In Madison, contact Heating and Cooling Incorporated. Or in Windsor, contact A. Windsor Sheet Metal.
It's a big time of the year for Ayers Furniture. It's Spring Preview 92, and all the furniture manufacturers are displaying their new models. Bedroom, living room, dining room, carpets, mattresses. 50,000 square feet of beautiful home furnishings are on sale through March at Ayers. Buy today, take June to pay. Plus, Ayers will throw in free delivery. Ayers is well worth the drive because they have the lowest guaranteed prices in southwestern Wisconsin. And even better is Ayers Spring Preview 92 now through March. Ayers Furniture, just west of Madison on Highway 18-151 in Ridgeway.
It's time now, fans, for a defensive clinic. Your instructor is number 15, Todd Helbing.
Watch Todd come, and time his jump, leap, got his hand on the ball, saved a possible basket.
And then King tried to inbound with a second left, but they didn't get any kind of shot off. And it is now tied at 37 as King has the first possession of the fourth quarter.
Who would have thunk it, Jay?
Oh, Jackson is back. And how?
Well, that's no surprise. He's a great shooter, and if you're not up on him, he's going to can those.
Jackson has 12 points.
One thing that is a surprise is the rebounding right now. It's even at 19. I don't think people expected Craig to stay with King on the boards.
Berlowski has it against Harrell. Now McDuffie takes over. Here's Helbing. Crone with a big rebound for Craig. Gets it to Engstrom. Lost it. Look at him fight. Jackson has it for the Generals.
If that were rugby, Jay, I think you'd call it a scrum, don't you? Boy, there was an example of 2 sequences of very quick hands. Nobody was sure who had the ball in their possession. Now it's King's turn to be a little bit more deliberate and get the shot they want.
We've played a minute of the fourth quarter. 40-37 King. Curry, too deep. No, missed it.
Ryan just overlaid it a little bit. Hit the back end of the rim. Obviously, Craig has got to come down here with an answer.
Engstrom has it. Crone with a nice move. Got it. What a play.
Great fake. The ball fake created the shot for him.
And Curry was thinking to swat it in the first row, but it didn't happen. Travel.
There's the real important stat. 19 rebounds for each team. That's what's keeping Craig in the game.
Into the Craig lineup. Number 45 is Chris Overly.
Obviously, that other stat of having 4 3-pointers in the game has helped Craig, too.
That doesn't hurt. 6:20 remaining.
King is applying full court pressure with a double team now once he crossed the 10-second line.
Here and Boom will try it again, but that time McDuffie had the answer. Curry with a rebound.
I kind of thought he would dish off after he got that close, but he was going to challenge the big guy, David and Goliath, on that one.
It worked before. Now here's King with the ball and a 1-point lead.
Craig is playing a zone so that they don't jam the ball down around the basket. Very uncharacteristic of Craig.
Nice move by Jackson. Here comes Berlowski right back. Got it.
Good answer. Good answer.
27 for Berlowski.
The quarter started out Jackson 5, Craig nothing, but Ben answered.
It's been a game of answers. Jackson 3. No. Curry with a follow. Craig knocked it out of bounds.
It's going to stay down underneath King's basket.
Craig goes to the bench again. Deucer Slavin is 21.
This is really March Madness. Neither team can run away from the other one. They just keep coming back and hanging in there.
Well, and you talk about a big crowd in here, too. They all wanted to see King and Craig. And they'll stick around for Appleton West and Oshkosh North after this.
Well, the way the games have gone so far.
Another three for Jackson, miss. McDuffie. It's knocked out of bounds. King keeps it.
Anybody who was here this morning wasn't disappointed, and I don't think anybody is disappointed with this ball game either.
Columbus and St. Croix Falls winning in Division III this morning. They've been doing very well off the inbound. Blocked by Crone, though, as he blocks McDuffie.
Great block, super block.
Helbing. McDuffie, rebound.
I don't know if Craig wanted to shoot the ball quite that fast on that possession.
Diedrich tried to get it back to Harrell, but Berlowski recovering nicely, knocks it away.
You know, that block by Crone just shows you how hard the Craig kids are fighting and scratching and clawing in there. They're doing a great job.
4:54 left. There it is on the inbound again. King has scored a lot of points off that short little inbound pass inside.
On that play, Jay, they were so jammed in, it was congested in the middle. They probably should have thrown the ball wider.
Harrell tries it again. This time they get away outside to Jackson.
Obviously, their first option on their baseline out-of-bounds play is to lob it to one of their big guys.
Here's the lob to Curry. They're going to get Ryan Crone, I believe. Nope. Yes, it is. Ryan Crone. Number 4 on Ryan Crone.
What he does on this play is what he's been taught. Once the ball is bounced by a big guy, then you go for it. Then you try and either grab it out of his hands or swat it away.
5th team foul on Janesville Craig. King with 3. Inbound again. McDuffie can't get it to go. And here comes Craig. Berlowski has it. Wide open. Slavin.
Great pass by Ben. Great pass, and Coach Goss wants another timeout.
Janesville Craig is back into the lead. The 77th annual WIAA Boys Basketball Championships will continue after these messages from our statewide sponsors, Rural Insurance Companies and the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board. This is your WIAA network station.
This is a gate change announcement.
Ah, the virtues of milk.
Flight 7 is now boarding at gate 65.
What? Milk helps supply carbohydrate to boost your energy. It's wonderfully slim on calories. Milk has B-complex vitamins for steady nerves. And a bit of potassium.
Care for something?
I was having milk.
To help maintain a healthy heartbeat.
This is your captain.
Milk.
We'll be delayed here an hour.
It does a body good.
Good driving is a habit. You can learn good driving habits or bad driving habits. You can be a good driver or a bad driver. You decide. Who pays for bad drivers?
Keep both hands on the wheel.
Good habits have their rewards.
Here's how Janesville Craig got back into the lead. It's going to be number 21, Deucer Slavin.
And give Ben Berlowski the assist on that great pass. Right now, if you're looking down the road here with 4 minutes to go, Craig has all of their timeouts. King has 2, and the alternate possession will be in Craig's favor.
Here we go. 4:25 left. Craig by 1. Curry at the free throw line now takes a step in. Boy, some tough luck for the Generals the last 2 times down.
Great rebounding position again.
All day long. Berlowski.
They're trying to screen for Ben with the ball or without the ball. They want the ball in his hands.
Nice pass.
Great pass.
Kieran Boom to Engstrom.
Super.
Craig is up 3. McDuffie, high post. Harrell's open. He can hit that, and does.
They come right back and answer the charge.
But here comes Craig. Crone knocked away from behind. The quickness of Afrashawn Diedrich.
I think they caught King that time celebrating on the made basket. They broke a guy down the floor and almost converted on that.
And I think King's coaches noticed that too and shouted out a little instruction. Tie game. Berlowski against Harrell. He'll pull it back out to Engstrom, who gets it to Helbing.
Ben's working real hard. He's coming off screens. He's making cuts all the time to get the ball.
Helbing. Diedrich goes high for King.
Well, now it's King's chance to see what they're going to do.
Diedrich left alone, finds McDuffie.
Penetrate and dish off. Great play.
Engstrom. Foul on Curry, rather than McDuffie. King was looking for a travel, but they call a foul on McDuffie, his third.
Well, the feet were moving and the body contact happened at the same time, and the officials interpreted it to be a foul.
As we head to the final 3:05 in the fourth quarter, do you feel both teams have substituted enough and everybody's going to be fresh for the last little bit here?
Yeah, I think you're going to see both teams come back now in crunch time with the 5 strongest players that they've got, or the 5 that have been playing the best together.
Matt Engstrom is a 69% free throw shooter. He has 4 points today. Second team all-conference in the Southern Wisconsin. Missed 2. King with the ball and a 2-point lead. 3 minutes left.
Well, let's see how deliberate King will be now. I don't think you want to pull it out quite yet and change all your momentum that you've built up.
Diedrich out front. Jackson floats through the lane and gets it now. Diedrich drives to McDuffie, and a foul.
A smart foul. Make him shoot the free throws because he's not that great a free throw shooter, and don't give him the easy basket.
And here's a big play here. The foul is on number 53, Ryan Crone. That is 5 personal fouls. He is out of the game.
And this young man has played a whale of a game. Well, he's not coming out, Jay, so obviously I know Don Kerr wouldn't have made a mistake. I think he's only got 4 fouls.
Don Kerr had him gone. He's out of here. Right?
Who am I to second-guess Don? I'm sorry, Don. 1,000 apologies.
He only scored 4, but as you say, Bill, he just played a great game.
Well, his board work and his defensive denial really has kept Craig in this ball game. So he just made up his mind when he entered this ball game that he was not going to be dominated by 2 Division ball players. 2 Division I kids did not intimidate him today. Great job, Ryan.
In comes number 45, Chris Oberly. He is a 6'4 junior. But we go to the free throw line. Otto McDuffie, number 55, headed to the University of Wisconsin next year. Missed the first. King with 2 timeouts left. Craig with 4 timeouts remaining. Team fouls, both teams with 6. Possession arrow points toward Janesville Craig.
King is coming back with some full court pressure now. Again, just to keep the ball out of Berlowski's hands as long as they can. Remember, Jay, every trip down, Berlowski's got to touch it, I think.
There he does. Harrell blocked it. And now Harrell's open. Berlowski fouled him. No basket. No basket. What a defensive play by Jamie Harrell to block the shot of Berlowski, and that started a fast break.
Well, and then it was followed up by a pretty smart... Here's the missed shot. Long pass down. Berlowski makes a good play here. He's going to make him earn his points on the free throw line instead of giving him an uncontested layup.
4th personal foul on Ben Berlowski.
That was the bad part of the whole play. Smart play, but it cost him his 4th foul.
Jamie Harrell has had a nice game. That's his 13th point. He averages 14 points and 4 assists a game.
You know, and the other thing is, too, Jay, King gives up On the average, 49 points a game. They're right where they want to be defensively here.
And Harrell converts two. It's a 5-point advantage. Helbing gets it back to Peerenboom.
What Craig doesn't want to do is rush it.
There's a shot by Oberle. And a foul. On 55, Matt Engstrom.
Well, Coach Suter is going to call timeout and discuss what he wants to do now with time under 2 minutes.
1:57 left. Our state tournament coverage continues after these messages from our statewide sponsors, Marshfield Clinic and Menards. This is your WIAA network station.
Right now, save on storm doors and more at Menards. Larson Storm and Screen Doors are on sale. Larson doors are built with a solid wood core for extra strength, starting at just $88. And save on storm and screen door hardware from Wright Products. Choose from locks, closers, latches, and more. Now 20% off our everyday low prices. Make Menards your storm door headquarters.
Save big money at Menards.
My specialty fields are working with abused children, working with behavioral problems, children that have hyperactivity. We pick up problems earlier so that we can get children and their families in to get advice to handle problems before they become so bad that the child is delinquent or failing in school. We are rewarded by providing good patient care that makes a difference to the patients.
Craig down 5. They pull the trigger with Chris Oberle, and it didn't work out.
Well, I think maybe 1 or 2 more passes would have been a better decision at that point in the game. Now we've got to see what Coach Bob Suter is going to do here. He probably told his kids, hey, let's have a little bit more patience on offense, and it may turn into a free throw shooting contest. Keep fouling so that we get possession of the ball again.
To the line, Otto McDuffie.
His last trip, he was 1 for 2.
And this will be a bonus situation. Now, Craig makes the substitute before the free throw. Out comes Oberle, in comes Jason Bresser, number 41.
I think if Coach Suter made this decision to foul, it's a very calculated decision.
Now, yeah, they're not going to let him do it, I don't think.
Taking into consideration King's free throw percentage and the fact that they need the ball, this may be the best way to get possessions in this last 1 minute and 57 seconds.
That's a new rule this year that you can't substitute after a timeout before a free throw.
The officials were right on top of that one.
McDuffie.
This is March Madness. Here's a kid, tight ball game, crunch time, makes the free throw. This is why it's the greatest time of the year.
Now you can make that substitution. Here comes Bresser. Otto McDuffie, the player of the year in the Milwaukee City Conference. 2 big free throws. The lead now 7. 15 for McDuffie.
Another thing Craig's got to decide is, do you want to shoot 2s or 3s at this point?
They tried a double screen for Berlowski, but that still didn't free him. Harrell and Berlowski again. He'll get a shot. Harrell rebounds. Man, he's all over the place.
He really is. And Ben worked real hard to get that shot. And now you're going to see King, I think, pull it out and spread the floor.
The Generals squarely in control, up 7 with 1:20 left.
As you look back, Jay, you might say, well, why were they doing this in the first quarter, in the second quarter, and the third quarter? Here's why. Here's where they've worked on it and they've perfected it.
And Craig will have to start gambling pretty soon, and that's going to open up some things for the 2 big guys, Curry and McDuffie.
Well, you obviously have to foul somebody who's not in the act of shooting here, so that you get them on the line with a 1-on-1 instead of 2 free ones.
There's the foul by Helbing. But off of that spread, sometimes you can get a guard that sees an opening, and then those big guys can come in from the wings, right?
Oh, absolutely. The floor becomes so big that if you don't deny that cutter, he's going to be pretty wide open. Then, of course, if he's open, you got to make a decision as a defensive player. Are you going to foul him besides when he's in the act of shooting? This is a tough situation for Craig.
The 77th Annual Boys State Basketball Championships are brought to you statewide by Cenex Land O'Lakes and your local Cenex Land O'Lakes Cooperative. Milwaukee King coach Jim Goss said, if we lose, it's not the end of the world, but we just don't want it to be the last game. Well, he said that before they started the tournament play, obviously. And again, King has had people shooting at him all year long. You know, if you think about it, I think the crowd here is partisan toward Craig, because when you knock off #1, that's a heck of a story. But you got to give the Generals a lot of credit, because they've taken everything Craig has thrown at them and still have a 7-point lead with 48 seconds left.
Well, they've lived with a lot of pressure. I mean, being rated in the country as high as they are, 3 Division I players, keeping them focused and playing as a team. This was probably a pretty tough season for Coach Jim. But obviously you can see when it's crunch time and pressure is on, they answer all of those challenges.
With the 3 Division I players, Brian Curry is headed to DePaul, Eric Jackson to Green Bay, UW Green Bay, and Otto McDuffie to Wisconsin.
And I wouldn't be surprised if this kid on the line right here goes somewhere too.
Jamie Harrell has matched his average today. And he missed it. Berlowski has the rebound for Craig.
Well, that's what Craig was hoping for.
Now they need points in a hurry. Berlowski, he's going to put it up, I'll bet you. What a move!
Oh, great shot. Great shot and a timeout.
Ben Berlowski was triple teamed and somehow split 2 defenders. He has 29 points. Look at this.
Well, he sandwiched, ball fake. Oh, great maneuver. That's his shining moment.
It'll look just as good down here, I think.
Maybe even better. I think this was in front of the Janesville bench.
Oh, man.
And very wisely calls timeout so that they can set up some kind of a full court pressure. This is not over with yet.
He made that move over about 19 feet of people. 3 guys over 6 feet.
Well, as I said before, every time Craig comes down the floor, they've got to get it in his hands. He's a creator. He's a finisher.
Well, and the thing about Berlowski, he has to work so hard on a day like this especially, and it looks like he's taking off-balance shots, but he knows what he's doing when he's going up.
Well, he really does that. Last time he got the ball, he ran from one corner of the baseline all the way along the baseline to get the ball in the opposite corner. Then, after all of that, obviously he's kind of exhausted. Then he uses the rest of his energy to create a shot like that and a made basket. He's a great player.
Plenty more Division I games coming up. Right after this one, Appleton West against Oshkosh North. Then at 7 o'clock, 2 more quarterfinals, Madison West and Milwaukee Hamilton, Arrowhead and Eau Claire North. Our situation with 32.5 seconds left. It is 52 Milwaukee King, 47 Janesville Craig. King inbounding the ball. The possession arrow in favor of Janesville Craig.
Look for a quick foul.
There it is. Matt Pierenboom fouls Eric Jackson.
1 second went off the clock. You come down, you hope they miss the free throw. You get possession, you go to the other end and give it to Ben.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not that tough being a coach, is it? You get it to Ben.
It really isn't.
Yeah.
But the kid's got to execute what you tell him to do, and that's what makes this whole game so interesting.
Eric Jackson. He's been in pressure situations in this house before. Missed. Engstrom rebounds. Oh, and he threw it. Still going on the floor, and they'll give it to the King.
Oh, that's a big possession here.
Engstrom had the rebound, but he threw it. Looked like right to Jackson. But then there was a scuffle, and Craig knocked it out of bounds with 26.2 left.
Everything worked out for Craig except the pass to the wrong player.
King has a 5-point lead.
Now you're going to see him spread the floor again, Jay.
And a foul coming up. If they can catch Jackson, they keep moving the ball. Harrell has it. Pierenboom got him. Well, that took about 10 seconds.
I really thought they may have double-teamed a little bit earlier and fouled when it was at half court in the far corner by the 10-second line.
Here comes Todd Helbing. Back in for Janesville.
Again, now you look at the scoreboard and you say, well, this is over, but it really isn't. There's a possibility of 2 possessions here for Craig. They come down twice and hit 2 threes. They got themselves a W.
They'd like that ball back after that last rebound by Engstrom, wouldn't they?
Oh, they really would.
Because now Harrell makes this one. And it's a 6-point game with 13.6 left. So he makes this one, you're looking at 3 possessions at least. And that's not going to happen in 13.6.
Right now, I think it's at most a 2-possession game. Yep. 3, I think, is out of the question. Another crucial free throw.
Harrell doing pretty well from there today. That could be your ball game.
Well, the door is closing rapidly here.
Well, now it's shut. Pirenboom. McDuffie rebounds. Helbing may get a shot off, but King has withheld the challenge. And a foul with .7 left.
They really have, and they've been knocked for their free throw shooting, and I don't know what their percentage is, but it sure seems like when they had to make free throws today, they did.
You can pencil in Milwaukee King into the Division I semifinals.
And if you're somebody who's fascinated with numbers, King is just a little bit below their defensive average. If he makes these 2 free throws, they're right on it for the last 20-some games.
51, Derek Bills in as Matt Engstrom fouls out for Janesville Craig. I'm sorry, just out of the lineup. Helbing at the line makes the first.
And obviously, if you're a defensive coach, you say, this is what wins games. Holding somebody in the 50s or below, you're going to win most of your ball games.
Helbing, of course, fouled on that 3-point shot, so he will get 3 free throws. He has 6 points today. And a sigh of relief from the King bench. They earned it. They worked hard. King clears the first hurdle.
And in a game like this, Jay, remember, there was a winner, but they're both winners because of the way they competed for 32 minutes. Great effort.
54-48 Milwaukee King. We'll return after these messages from your local station. This is your WIAA network station.
If you've overdone it, played too hard, or stripped a gear, here's a reminder from the UW Hospital Sports Medicine Center. Apply ice to the injury, use compression to control swelling, elevate it, and support it. For more information on any sports medicine question, call 263-4765. UW Hospital Sports Medicine Center, Wisconsin's Center for Sports Medicine.
Where does business turn when recruiting positions?
One of our best art directors got her start at MATC. She's terrific.
Dan Cook is a great example of an MATC graduated technician.
MATC is an excellent recruitment source for filling a variety of positions at Wisconsin Power and Light.
MATC is good for business. Call MATC today and begin a career that promises a great future. MATC.
American, the low price leader. Everything's on sale at American. The everything sale. What's on sale? Everything. Toshiba, VCR, 4-head, $228. Magnavox, 19-inch remote, $199. Every stereo on sale. This 240-watt Pioneer, $549. With 6-disc CD changer. Every boombox on sale. Sony CD car stereo, $299. Answering machine, $27. Everything's on sale. American, the low price leader. Everything's on sale. Till 5 Sunday. Everything.
To say you're number one and be your number one, but Milwaukee King delivered the goods today. They are number one, at least for right now.
Well, they proved it. They proved they belong here, and they proved that, you know, they may just repeat again this year.
But they have a couple of more hurdles to come. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Right now, Chris Roth is standing by with the winning head coach from King, Jim Goss.
All right, thanks very much, Jay. And Coach, it was a tough one right out of the gate. That gets you ready to go for the rest of the tournament, doesn't it?
No question. None of these are going to be easy. We knew Janesville Craig packed a lot of weapons, but they're a explosive team and a dangerous team. And a credit to our guys is every run they made, we answered, and that senior's going to do it again.
As you said, it was a fun one to watch. What was going through your mind? 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter, and Eric Jackson gets his fourth foul.
Well, I thought our offense would sputter a little bit, but I thought Jamin Rell and Aprishan picked it up a little bit. Janesville cut off our inside game, and our guards were a little off, you know, and I don't know if it's a credit to Janesville Craig or if we played bad, but I'm glad we're done with them.
You put a lot of heat on Ben Berlowski, yet he still went for 29. Have you seen a guy go against you that well this year?
I've seen Ben Berlowski on numerous tapes, and we said we don't mind if he gets his 30, but just as long as people don't get 12, 14 in there. Then we went into our stall tactics, which took them, you know, out of their game plan.
You've been playing all year now with the pressure of being the defending state champions. Is it a little different now that you're actually in the field house and it's just 2 more games to go?
Once we enter onto the court and they throw the ball up, that's all wiped out. We're intense. Our coaching staff is intense, but what could be more fun, though?
All right, Jim, good luck the rest of the way. It's a pleasure to watch it.
Thanks. We're going to have to play better.
All right, thanks, Jim. And let's go back across the court now to Jay and Bill.
Okay, thanks a lot, Chris. 54-48, the final. And, boy, Janesville Craig, the last 2 years, last year they played Wauwatosa East, an undefeated team, lost in the final seconds. And Milwaukee King this year beats Janesville Craig, and the Cougars were in it all the way as we take a look at the highlights. We'll start it off with Jamie Harrell, who, as you say, Bill, is quite a player.
Well, he's just one other threat in their whole arsenal of things that they have.
Talk about a threat. Ben Berlowski was it today.
He did everything for him. He's going to sleep good tonight.
Yeah, he had to work off the arc because Harrell played some pretty good defense on him. You know, you say, how can a guy play good defense when somebody scores 29 on you? But Harrell was in his face all day.
Well, he had to work hard to get the ball, and then he had to work hard to create his own shots.
Now here's Berlowski on another follow off the break.
That's just a great hustle play. There's a kid that's running up and down the floor all the time.
And Eric Jackson had another pretty good day shooting from the outside despite 4 fouls.
Well, that's part of their outside attack, and then of course McCurry and McDuffie are their inside attack.
Watch this move by Ryan Crone.
He'll remember that one for a long time. That's going to be on his personal highlight film.
And here's the Deucer Slavin show. He'll save this one for a few years too, I think, as he put in a hoop.
Again, and he can thank Ben Berlowski for that pass.
And Craig just kept hanging around. They were there for the whole game. Nice pass inside there to Matt Engstrom.
I think Craig did everything they had to do to stay in this game.
But in the end, it was free throws and some good shooting by Milwaukee King. As Harrell hit another 3 there. The final numbers, the rebounds were pretty even. King 29-27.
There's a lot of real close situations there. Rebounds, turnovers. That's why it was a close game, Jay.
Okay, so Milwaukee King the winner as we take a look at the leading scorers. What a game for Ben Berlowski as he scored 29. King had only 4 players score, but 3 of them were in double figures.
Well, as Coach God said before the game, you know, if Ben gets 30, we just don't want other people to be getting 12, 14, 10 points, and that's what they prevented. The next scorer is Hebling with 6.
So Milwaukee King into the semifinals, 54-48 over Janesville Craig. Coming up, it'll be Oshkosh North against Appleton West as our Division I quarterfinals continue. Chris Roth will return in just a moment. But first, a message from your local stations. This is your WIAA network station.
Now during deer season, you can get up to $400 off on lawn and garden tractors, or up to $150 off on one of our riding mowers, or up to $80 off on one of our mulching mowers. With 36 different mowers to choose from, there's no lawn too large or too small for a John Deere.
Reels of Fenimore, Highway 18 East Fenimore, Bob Barr's Kawasaki, South Stoughton, Madison, Mount Horeb Implement, Business 18 and 151 Mount Horeb, Evergreen Equipment, County DR Monroe.
To find the best tractor, one smart customer consulted his computer on durability, performance, reliability, safety, and economy. The computer came up with the only logical answer: Kubota tractors. Right now, your Kubota tractor dealer has a number of financing plans that make owning a Kubota as easy as driving one. For financing terms that really compute, visit your Kubota tractor dealer today.
See Barneveld Implement, Highway 18-151 Barneveld, and McFarland's Implement, South Water Street in Sauk City.
Camera one. There's a hot spring forecast at Famous Footwear. Big savings are a sure bet. Big brand name family favorites, too. You can expect low prices every day. And for the next few days, a special sale. A downpour of Nike favorites. 30% off. Great men's Nikes. A flurry of kids' styles. A flood of women's Nikes. 30% off. Brand name shoes for less. Ooh, that's what makes us famous. Famous Footwear.
Awaiting the start now of the Appleton West Oshkosh North Division I quarterfinal. The winner will get Milwaukee King. And we are awaiting the start of that ball game. You know,